None of us want to go to work and not feel any joy. Do you have an unhealthy relationship with work? If so, then there's a good chance that you're going to work and you don't feel any joy. No, I'm not talking about getting paid. Everyone loves to get paid. We have a job, we get a salary, or you make hourly, and it feels good at the end of the day or end of the week to go home with your money. But have you noticed that the feeling that you get when you bring home your money, it's more of a it's more of like a relief. Like, whew, finally getting paid. Finally, I can pay those bills. Finally, I can purchase the things that I want to purchase in order to live my version of the American dream. That that feeling that you get where it feels good that you're getting paid, it feels good that you're getting a bonus. You think about all the things that you could purchase. You think about how your life is going to be a little bit easier. But that joy is missing something. There's a kernel of unsatisfaction to it. And I believe that that kernel of unsatisfaction, that kernel of discontent actually is a sign that something isn't quite right. Today, I'm going to be talking about how you can experience joy at work, reconnecting with that joy. That feeling of dissatisfaction that you get when you get paid and everything is supposed to feel good and everything is supposed to feel great and it doesn't feel like it's 100% contentment. It's not 100% joy. That same feeling lives on when you're at work. A lot of times we feel good when we complete a project. You complete a particular assignment, you deliver a service, you create a product, and you can see the fruits of your labor. And underneath that celebration that we want to feel when we accomplish a task, underneath that is a kernel of discontentment, a kernel that something isn't quite right. When you meet someone on the job and you get to know them, you get to know their work ethic, you may get to know a little bit about their background. You may even get to know some of their immediate family members. You may find out what their likes and dislikes are. You may find out what their favorite color is. So you start building this mental image based on the conversations you have with the person, and you start to realize, hey, this person could potentially be my friend. We have so much in common. And when you start interacting more and more with them on a professional basis and you start valuing their inputs, you start valuing their insights, you start respecting the work that they're doing for the company, you start respecting the work that they're doing alongside you. So you start to not just see them as a friend, but you also see them as a colleague. But because you're in this work situation, even though you can enjoy your happy hours and you can have company events and you can do mandatory fun and they're your best friend at work, or they're the best the your favorite person to spend time with. When you're spending time with them, knowing that you're at work and you're feeling all the positive emotions that you typically feel in a relationship, there's a hint that something is missing. You can feel like you're really close to the people that you work with. You can feel like you're well bonded and you're emotionally engaged with the people that you work with. You may feel like you're mentally engaged with the person that the people that you're working with, but underneath that feeling of engagement, there's a hole that has not been filled. There's something missing in that relationship. I believe that the relationships that we have with work, the fact that there's something missing and we all know it. We all know something is missing. And that something is apparent in a lot of different places when you think about our relationship with work. I believe it's because there's something wrong with our relationship with work. See, a lot of us, me included, we were raised as kids and we were told to dream big. And based on your dreams, you go after your particular career, you go after your particular industry, you get your education, you get your training, you compete to get that job at the company that you want to work for, and you wind up finally accepting the realities of your career. But as you begin accepting the realities of your career, those dreams that you had when you were a child, they don't really go away. They still live on in the background. And those expectations of how you want your life to be, and those expectations on the joy and the satisfaction and the fulfillment that you're going to get in your career, those expectations that you had that you're going to work on something that is worthwhile, that is going to move society forward, those expectations still live on, and they live on dormant in the back of your mind and your subconscious. And every day that you ignore them, every day that you do not respect them, every day that you don't feed them adds to that feeling of loss. It adds to a feeling that you get of something not being fulfilled. I believe that joy, the joy that you're supposed to feel when you're going to work at your dream job, at your dream company, in your dream industry, I believe that the joy that you want to feel is still possible for you in this lifetime if you change your mindset. I want you to change your mindset because if you change your mindset, you will change the relationship that you have with work. And if you can change the relationship that you have with work, then you can change the relationship that you have with the people that you work with. You can also change the relationship that you have with the goals that you set and the tasks that you accomplish. But it all requires you to change your mindset. I'm going to help you change your mindset. I'm going to call out something that is going to make some people feel uncomfortable, but I'm going to tell you the reality of your situation. The reality is too much of our life, too much of our work life, too much of our personal and professional life, too much of our life is focused around making money. Now, I know that sounds crazy, right? We live in a capitalist society. As a consultant at one of the big four accounting firms in the world, we're all about creating profits for our clients. I understand the need to be productive. I I served as an officer in the United States Air Force. I understand leadership, and in leadership in our economy, we need to be productive. And in order for our companies to survive, they need to be profitable. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, too much of our time is focused around money. We're going to work for money when we should be going to work for something much bigger than money. Money will come. Like we cannot avoid that, but we can't just look at money as the end all be all to everything. It can't be. Focusing on money when you go to work. I'm going to work and I'm going to work because someone is paying me a check. To have that mindset. I'm going to work, I'm talking to this colleague, and the reason why I'm talking to this colleague is because someone is going to pay me a check. I'm doing this task and I'm doing this task to the standard that I'm expected to do this task because someone is going to pay me a check. To have that mindset where you are solely focused on making the check. So you're solely focused on making the cash. You're solely focused on building up your account. To have that mindset is a short-term mindset. And it's a recipe that makes you feel a loss of joy. It's hard to get joy out of your efforts that you're making to just pursue money. They say, I'm sure you've heard, they say money, the love of money is the root of all evil. If you focus just your love and your deep affection on making the money, essentially you'll get robbed of all the joy that you're supposed to feel in life. You'll get robbed of the joy and the satisfaction from your career. You'll get robbed of the relationships, the healthy relationships that you're supposed to have with the people that you work with. If you just focus on money, it will even rob you of the healthy relationships that you're supposed to have with your husband or with your wife because you're solely focused on money. If you're solely focused on money, at some point, someone is going to offer you money. At some point, the system is going to offer you money to compromise your values. It's going to offer you money to compromise your brand. It's going to offer you money to compromise your company. It's going to offer you money to betray your closest coworker who you have the strongest relationship with. That money mindset. That money mindset will rob your joy. I believe that you should work for more than money. And deep down in your heart, you know the same thing. It's just no one wants to talk about it. Deep down in your soul, you know you're more than money. You're a human being. You have a mind, you have a soul, you have a spirit, you have a heart, you have a body. You're much more than just money. We cannot focus all of our efforts on money. There are things that happen in our economy. There's things that are happening in your industry. There's things that are happening at your individual company that if the people who are making the decisions are only making decisions based on money, then they would cut costs in a manner that is inconsistent with growth. And they would never be able to reach the goals that they have financially. They will never be able to increase their market share. They'll never be able to grow their industry and will never be able to grow the economy because sometimes if you make decisions solely based on what is right for the money, sometimes it will lead you down a path where you run your legacy that you're creating. You will run your opportunity to grow. You'll run your opportunity to develop as an individual and as a company. You'll run everything because you're only focused on money. That money mindset is something that is doing all of us a disservice. It's the real reason why your friends at work are not your friends after work. Because both of you all know you're here for the money. And there's a good chance that someone in your work relationship, there's a good chance that deep down inside they really don't like you. Deep down inside they're only tolerating you because they're getting paid to tolerate you. They're only making a relationship with you because they're getting paid to have a relationship with you. There are some people out there that they're only motivated by the money, and they will be the kindest, most gentle. They'll be the model citizen for you. But the truth is, they're not really a model citizen. The truth is, they're not really a great worker. They're only getting paid by the money. They're only getting motivated by the money. They're not getting motivated by any values or any core values. And it hurts their relationships. It hurts your relationships with the people that you work with because so many people are so focused on just making the money. I believe executives make some really poor decisions when they just focus on the money. They lay off entire teams that are working on major projects that can provide generational income for their company. And they'll lay them off, they'll cut them off. They won't invest in their professional development. They won't teach them the new technology. It's not because they don't think the new technology is good, it's just they don't have the vision to say, if I invest in my people will invest in me. If I take care of my people will take care of me and my company. They don't have the vision for that because they're only looking at the money and they're looking at the dollars and the cents. They should be making decisions based on something more than just the money. I know that's a hard that's a hard statement to accept. I get it. Fiduciary duties. Okay? Yeah, I get it. Shareholders, creating shareholder value. Guess what? Your shareholders, the people that own your company, they will be much more rewarded. They will have a greater reward, a better return on investment if you decide to invest in long-term gains. Those long-term gains they may not be as profitable in the short run. It may take some investment, but you got to let them know, like, hey, I can't have the money mindset. I can't have the mindset that we're only here to create short-term profit. We're here to create long-term profit, long-term returns. We're talking about generational income. The money mindset, it's running relationships, it's running companies and their ability to be profitable when the economy is changing like it is. That money mindset makes people make really poor decisions across industries. And individually, when we wake up in the morning and we say, I'm only going to work because they're paying me this money, really, we're running our joy. We're running our opportunity to feel fulfillment at the end of the day. Because we're telling ourselves we're only leaving our house, we're only getting ready for work, we're only going to work and doing our job because they're paying us the money. And then once we get the money, okay, great, that's a fair exchange, that's a transaction, but that transaction doesn't bring us any joy. It may bring us a little bit of relief, but it's not going to bring us joy. We want joy. We want contentment, we want happiness, we want love, we want passion. But in order to do that, we have to shift our mindset away from thinking about the money and having a money mindset to having a mindset that is more than money. Go to work, do your best, but do it because you're doing it for something more than money. Find your purpose. Find the thing that is that makes that passion inside you grow, that makes that heart inside you get on fire. Find that thing that makes your mind sharper, that makes you want to do the best that you can, that makes you want to use the best of your creativity and the best of your intelligence to solve a problem that nobody else could solve. Find that part of your personality. You are more than money. Period. Point blank. Your company is more than money. The people that you work with and that you work for, they're more than money. There's there's so many artificial intelligence applications. There's so many there's so much technology out there that is trying to redefine how work is going to be in the future. Some people are using artificial intelligence and other technologies to automate things as a means to push human beings out of the workforce. I disagree with this approach. I think that's a fool's errand. I don't think that there will ever be a future where human beings here on earth, where you and I, people like you and I, are not working. We love being productive. We love creating. We love building. We love analyzing. We love solving problems. The technology is going to come and go, but what we'll end up doing with the technology is we will use it to enhance our abilities. It will never replace us. And the people who try to do that, they're about the money. Some people will look at the new technology and say, hey, look, this is a great investment. If I make this investment in this particular technology, and if I lay off all my workers, then just maybe I can get that return on investment. I can sell my company and, I'll be rich. But the truth is, you're destroying your company. You're hurting your industry. You're making the economy sink because you're so focused on making money that you do not make the decisions that you need to make in order for your company to have long-term growth. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, okay, Kenneth, I got it. This money mindset is not it. I want to have a mindset that is more than money. In order to shift your mindset, I want you to follow me here. When you decide to have a mindset that is more than money, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you should do is express gratitude for who you are, what you're doing, and the situation that you're in. I know some of you all may be thinking, I have no reason to express gratitude for anything that I'm in. But I want you to go through this exercise and think of what life would be like if things were just a little bit worse than they are. If your job was a little bit more difficult, or a little bit less fulfilling. If I want you to think of how bad life could be if you weren't as healthy as you are. If your mind didn't work as well as it does. If your heart wasn't as strong as it is. And whatever that situation is, and when you imagine life being a little bit worse than what it is, when you focus on how life could be much worse, you will find the seed of gratitude start to grow. And you can start thanking yourself and you can start being grateful for the things that you have in your life. Number one, be grateful. You want to shift your mindset? First step, be grateful. Be grateful for who you are. Be grateful for your car. Be grateful for your house. Just express gratitude. And you don't have to believe in a higher power. You just have to express gratitude. And in whatever way you do, express gratitude. That's going to make you feel happy and warm, and it's going to plant that seed of joy in your heart. The next thing to do when you're getting ready for work and you're thinking about your job, you're thinking about your company, you're thinking about your career, you're thinking about your industry, instead of going to work and saying, I got to go do this because I got to go make the money. Instead of going to work with the mindset of, I have to go do X, Y, and Z because I have to make the money. I want you to go to work, and as you're getting ready for work, tell yourself, I'm not just going to work for the money. I'm going to work for something more than just the money. You see, the company that I'm working in, I'm going to help that company be successful. I'm going to help that company create profits that exceed expectations. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue helping that company grow so that our industry gets bigger. And that industry, as your industry gets bigger, our economy will grow larger. And once our economy grows larger, then we'll be able to use the financial power that we have in our economy to move society forward. So you're not just going to work to do your job at a company and working in a silo without any relevance. And you're not just going to work for money. You're going to work to move society forward. You're going to work so that we can create the perfect society where men, women, and children of every ethnicity can experience prosperity and live in harmony. You're going to work to create generational wealth, not just for your children, but your children's children and your grandchildren, great grandchildren, and great great grandchildren. You're not just going to work for money, you're going to work so that we can have the financial power that we need to create safe communities. You're going to work so that we can have the financial power that we need to change the education system so that children of every ethnicity can enjoy a high quality education. You're going to work to fix the healthcare system so that men, women, and children of every ethnicity can receive high quality healthcare. You're not just going to work for the money. I want you to tell yourself that before you go out your door, before you get in your car or you get on public transit, I want you to tell yourself that you're going to work for more than just the money. And then when you get to work, this is very important. When you get to work, there's going to be a lot of things going on. A lot of things are going to distract your mind. Every free moment that you have, take a bio break. Go ask to use the restroom, take a break. If you have back to back meetings, make sure you spend some time in the morning, 10 minutes during your morning schedule, 10 minutes before lunch. I want you to remind yourself that you are working for more than just the money. When you're in your meeting, when you're working on a problem that just popped up, when you're dealing with a difficult coworker, I want you to remind yourself that you're working for more than just the money. You're working to move society forward. You're working to grow the economy. You're working to build an industry. You're working to create a company that can create profits without having to cut costs in a manner that is inconsistent with growth. You're working to make sure that your team is effective and it overachieves its expectations. So you're not just working for the money. You're working to provide a better quality of life for your children. And then at lunch, when you're getting ready for lunch and you're ordering your food and you sit down and you have a moment to bow your head, I want you to remind yourself again at lunch that you're working for more than just the money. And the reason why you're eating lunch is not because you just like spending time away from your family eating lunch. No, you're not just feeding yourself so that you can work longer and you won't be as hungry as you're working hard for the money. No, you are feeding yourself so that you can work longer and harder and more efficient and you can solve problems that other people cannot solve. You're giving your body the fuel that it needs so that it can work more than just the money. After lunch in the afternoon, this is the third time. Make sure you save some time, take a coffee break, go get hot chocolate if you don't drink coffee, but make sure that you have a break in the afternoon where you remind yourself that you're working for more than just the money. You have to continue to remind yourself every single moment that you have and every single day that you're going to work that you're working for more than just the money. We have been so conditioned, we have been so manipulated by people who want us to think that we're only going to work for the money. And we're not. We're going to work for something much more than just the money. We want our money, don't get me wrong, but we also want society to move forward. We want the work that we're doing in our company to grow our industries. We want our industries to be able to grow the economy. And then we want to use the financial power that we are creating in the economy to move society forward. That's why you're going to work. That's why all of us are spending time away from our families. That's why we are using the best of our creativity and the best of our intelligence to do things that other generations could not do. We're working for more than just the money. There has never been a time in the history of our country where the American dream was available for everyone. There has never been a time in the history of our country where Men, women, and children of every ethnicity could experience prosperity and live in harmony. There has never been a time like that. And that is exactly what we are working for. We are working to create that perfect society so that somewhere on this earth, and I hope it's here in the United States of America, but somewhere here on this earth, we can say, you know what, we created the perfect society. We created a strong economy. We created everything that needed to be created. We also solved problems that other generations could not solve. We cured diseases that other generations could not cure. We are a great generation. The time that we spent on earth has not been in vain. The pain that we have endured, the things that we have had to experience in our lives has not been in vain. We're going to look back on our life and be able to say that. This is not the end for you. This is not the end for me. This is not the end for us. This is just the beginning. When you change your mindset, when you shift your mindset from I'm only working for the money to I'm working for more than just the money, you get a chance to experience the joy that you've always wanted to experience. See, when you were a child and you were growing and you had your big dreams, you weren't thinking about the money. You were thinking about what can I do for society? What can I do for my community? What can I do that would make my children proud? You were thinking about something that would challenge you. You were thinking about doing something that allowed you to use your natural talents. You were thinking about doing something that allowed you to achieve your version of greatness. You were thinking about doing something that you can look back on and feel pride in many, 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 many years later. All of those things that you had as expectations, all those dreams that you had as goals, they're all possible if you shift your mindset. It is so important. I talk about personal leadership skills and how important personal leadership skills are, but you'll never be able to find the motivation and the inspiration to develop those personal leadership skills if you don't shift your mindset. If you're only thinking about the money, you will never find the motivation and the passion that you need to develop yourself. You'll just do the minimum because, hey, I'm getting paid for it. I'm getting the money. It makes you a horrible friend when you have that type of mindset. It makes you a horrible worker. It makes you a terrible executive. People will sacrifice for you if you can make them feel like you see them. People will sacrifice for you if your relationship with them is secure. People will sacrifice and the people will solve problems. People will go the extra mile for someone who believes in them. But when you make it clear that all of your friends and all of your relationships and the people that you work with, when you make it clear that you're only motivated by the money and you only see them as a paycheck, they're not going to go the extra mile for you. Not unless you're paying them. And that's not very profitable. They're not going to go the extra mile for you and sacrifice time that they're supposed to spend with their family if they can get a better deal somewhere else. They're not going to be loyal to you if you don't make them feel that they're more than just the money. It is so important for companies, for individuals, for entire industries to shift their mindset away from just focusing on the money to focusing on things that are more than just the money. Focus on your impact to society. Focus on your impact in your industry. Focus on your impact in your company. Focus on the impact that you're going to have, making sure that you become the best version of yourself. Focus on the legacy that you're creating. The legacy is going to come with money. If you focus on the legacy, the money will come. Focus on the legacy that you're going to create individually. Focus on the legacy that your company is going to create in the industry. People are going to write books about the things that your company is going to do if you do the things that you're supposed to do. Focus on the legacy that your industry is going to be making to grow our economy. Focus on the legacy that our economy is going to leave to the world by providing the financial resources that we need in order to create the perfect society. Focus on the legacy that you're going to be creating by contributing to a company that is in an industry that is going to support the economy, that is going to help us create the perfect society where men, women, and children of every ethnicity can experience prosperity and live in harmony. Focus on that. If you're excellent, if you're great, if you work on your personal leadership skills, If you do all of those things, the money is going to come. Trust and believe it is going to come if you're not already receiving it. There's been times when I thought I was stuck in my career and my excellence, my commitment to pursue excellence in everything that I do, it turned out all working out in my favor. And eventually I got the biggest raise that I've ever received in my entire life. But I would not have been able to achieve that raise if I just focused on the money. If I just focused on what is best for my personal interests, and I didn't focus on the interests of the people that I was working with, and I didn't focus on my broader mission and my broader contribution to society. I'll tell you this one story and then I'll let you go. There was a time when as a consultant, I was sitting in a conference room, was working as one of as a consultant at one of the big four accounting firms in the world. And this particular conference room was special because our team was getting ready to present our proposal to a prospective client. And as I was sitting in the conference room and I was listening to everyone speak, I realized that the proposal wasn't going to go necessarily the way that I thought it was going to go. So this was supposed to be my chance. This was supposed to be my chance to put together my slides, to lead my work stream, to talk about the things that I know, and to do my contribution as a speaking member of a presentation to a prospective client. This was my opportunity to win an opportunity. And I needed this particular opportunity because I wanted to get promoted. And one of the pieces of feedback that I received was, "Hey, you're not on a lot of these proposals. We need you to be, we need you to contribute to the business development of the firm." And as I was listening to my colleagues speak, and I was realizing that my opportunity to shine was getting ready to fall beneath the cracks, I started getting a little bit frustrated. I heard everyone talking, and essentially, what they were telling me is, Kenneth, we don't need you to do a speaking portion. We don't need you to put together the slides. What we need from you is we need you to be the next slide guy. I'm like, all right, well, hold on a minute. Deep inside, I was thinking, hold on, I have a master's in business administration from the University of Maryland. I understand business. I have a bachelor's of science in military strategy from the United States Air Force Academy. I can strategize with the best of them. I hold several certifications in the exact customer relationship platform that we're getting ready to propose to this prospective client. I can do much more than just be the next slide guy. Feeling a little bit frustrated, feeling my emotions getting the best of me, I asked myself to be excused from the room. Just to clear my head, take a bio break, take a restroom break, drink some water, just cool off. A lot of times that's what you have to do when you feel like your career is getting ready to slip through the cracks. And as I was walking down the hall feeling a little bit frustrated, I was thinking about the bonus that I was going to miss. I was thinking about the opportunities that I was not going to have because I wasn't able to land this particular speaking role. And my mind started going through what I should do next and how I should react once I get back into the room. I thought about just, sandbagging it, just sitting there, not paying very much attention, not focusing on anything. I thought about how I wasn't necessarily getting the opportunities that I needed, which would mean that I'm not going to get the money that I'm pursuing. And as I was walking through the hallway on the way to the restroom, I started realizing that I could not just let this one fall through the cracks. I could not let this decision that was being made to make me the next slide guy. I could not let this feeling that I have of being overlooked and underappreciated. I could not let that feeling influence who I am and change who I am as a person, who I am as a professional. I'm the type of dude that pursues excellence in everything that I do. I learned that it's been ingrained in me since the military. I'm not going to let just one position change that. So I started thinking, I was like, okay, I need to change the way I'm thinking. Right now, I see everything bad. I see all the bad things associated with being the next slide guy. I need to start changing the way I think so that I can go in there and I can pursue excellence in everything that I do. And I will not sacrifice my identity just because I missed this opportunity. And I shifted my mindset. I said, you know what? You're not just going in there to work for the money. You're not just going in there to get the promotion. You're not just going in there to show off what you can show off. You are the next slide guy, but I want you to be, and I was talking to myself, I want you to be the best next slide guy they have ever seen. Your responsibility is to maintain your commitment to pursue excellence in everything that you do. Your responsibility is to make sure that you keep integrity first and you stay true to your core values. Your responsibility is to show them what it looks like when someone puts their own self-interest beneath the interests of the mission or beneath the interests of the team. Show them what you can do as a team player. Show them what you can do as a role player. You'll get your time to shine. You'll at some point the right person is going to see you. You'll get your time. But I told myself, you know, be the best next slide guy they have ever seen. Be the best role player they have ever seen. Because if you do this, you will show them and you will demonstrate to them that you're there for more than just the money. The next day we were giving our presentation and the presentation was going well. All up until the client asked a question which completely could have derailed the entire presentation. And I was the best next slide guy they have ever seen. I was Johnny on the spot with all the slide clicks. Before they finished saying slide or next slide, I was already moving on to the next slide. I mean, I was a consummate professional. But when they asked this question that could have derailed the entire presentation, I raised my hand and offered to answer it. And because I was so engaged during the preparation, because I was so engaged the day before, because I had shifted my mindset, I was prepared to answer the question in a way that not only impressed my colleagues, but it also impressed my prospective clients. And it was only one question, one speaking opportunity. And I left the presentation. Once we got finished, we said bye to everyone. And I was walking outside and I was just like, you know what, it is what it is. I didn't get a chance to present my material. Didn't get a chance to lead the work stream. I didn't get a chance to contribute to this strategic proposal. I'm gonna have to look for another opportunity. So I was a little bit down on myself after I left. I didn't know at the time that I had impressed my colleagues so much and I had impressed my prospective clients so much that a couple of weeks later, someone who wasn't even in the room called me up and said, "Hey, I heard you did a great job on that presentation. And it looks like we're going to win." And guess what? Our firm did win that proposal. And eventually I got the biggest raise I've ever received in my entire life. And I got the promotion that I had been pursuing for such a long time. I share that story with you to let you know that if you shift your mindset and you change the relationship that you have with work and you decide to work for more than just the money, then there is no telling how much success you're going to find, not just in your career, in your professional life, but also in your personal life. That's my message for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you change your mindset. Work for more than just the money. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.